it's Kara here, and I wanted to do a video on probably the #1 question I get asked, whether it's people who see me in the gym, on Facebook, people at work. I'm constantly getting asked, how did you become a sponsored athlete? You know, why did companies want you as their athlete? So I wanted to talk a little bit about this because I got into the world of competing, #1, because I wanted to change my body and get in the best shape ever. And #2, I was like, I want to become a sponsored athlete. I think that'd be badass. I want companies to send me free shit, and I want to promote someone, you know? So I kind of went into this sport a little bit wanting to become sponsored. And most of you guys who follow me know that I do have 2 sponsorships. I've been sponsored by P28 and sponsored by MTS Nutrition, who are both amazing companies that I love promoting, and I couldn't be happier being a sponsored athlete. I guess I don't have all the answers for how to become a sponsored athlete, but what I'm going to tell you is what I know, what I've learned, and how I got to where I am. By no means am I doing this video acting like I'm cocky and I know everything on how to become a sponsored athlete, but a lot of bikini girls come to me. I've had bodybuilders come to me. A lot of people have said, how'd you do it? Because, you know, I've wanted to do that forever and, you know, nothing ever happened. So here's what I'm going to tell you. There's a few different things that I know, and this is going to be different based on the companies that you talk to and want to work for. Everyone's probably going to have a different approach depending on their business, who they want promoting them. So there's no one clear-cut answer here. It's going to be a little bit different for everyone. Like I said, when I first started competing, in my head I thought, well, maybe if I compete and place first in a show or turn into an IFBB bikini pro, then I'll get sponsored. This is what I used to think a few years ago when I got into competing. It doesn't work like that, you guys. It really doesn't. And I still hear a lot of girls newly coming into the sport and thinking, yeah, I want to do a show and I hope to become sponsored. It was almost like I thought if I competed, there was going to be like scouts there, like at a basketball game or something, like looking, and that someone would just come over to me and be like, I want you to represent me. It doesn't work like that, at least from what I've seen. A lot of it is networking and building your name and, you know, really showing companies who you are and what you can do for them is the biggest thing. It's not about you won first place at a competition, so they want you to represent them. It's about what you can do for them. You got to remember, these companies are businesses. Bottom line with business, with most things in life, is money. And if somehow, some way you have some type of connections or you have something to bring to the table that's going to help them build their brand, bring them in more money, spread the word about their business, that's what's going to make you appeal to them. There's so many people that compete. I mean, competing's huge right now, especially bikini girls. They're all bombshells. They're drop dead gorgeous. They all, you know, look perfect. They train hard. They're beautiful. I mean, we all kind of blend together. So in some way, somehow, some shape, you have to stand out and you have to be able to show and provide factual evidence that you can help a company further themselves. And this is just my experience. In some ways, I think it's all about who you know. You know, like I said, networking. Sometimes it's just about who you know. And if you're in with the right people and you know the right people or you date the right people, sometimes that's how you get sponsored too. In terms of how I got my P28 sponsorship, I'll talk a little bit about my 2 sponsors. I was being coached by Chris Villa, who was, many of you may know him. He's sponsored by several different companies, and P28 was one of them. And I coached under him for all of my 2013 season as a bikini athlete. He helped me do very well in competitions. And I used to send Chris some of my YouTube videos. I'd send him a couple of things where I talked about my training or my coaching and kind of things that related to him. And then I did a few different P28 videos because P28 comes from Syracuse. You know, I always loved the products. I thought they were awesome. I thought it was cool that they were a local based company that were so big in the bodybuilding world. You know, so I was strategic about it. I thought it out. You know, I spoke with my husband about it. He's a business type guy. His mind works that way. And yeah, I purposely did some P28 videos because I was already using their products, and I'm like, well, I have a decent following on YouTube. I am a bikini athlete, so I sent Chris some of my videos and he loved them. And you know, after a little while of sending him stuff, you know, we kind of talked about it, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna kind of push for you to become a sponsored athlete. Let me see what I can do. You know, and he believed in me. I had that networking connection. He was my coach. I had my YouTube site where I had a decent following, and being a girl on YouTube in the fitness industry, there's more girls up and coming on YouTube, but at the time there wasn't as many of us, so I brought a little bit something different to the table than just a typical competitor. You know, I had the YouTube where I could show the different meals I was making with their products. So I feel like that's one of the things that kind of got me in with my P28 sponsorship. And in terms of MTS Nutrition, you guys can check out Mark's video. It's a ways back now. I became sponsored last spring. But he talked about why he sponsored me, Alyssa, and Paula, and what his thoughts are on becoming a sponsored athlete. I feel very fortunate to get that sponsorship. I had, again, done some YouTube reviews of his products because I bought them, I liked them, I promoted them, and I had started working with him, and my husband had been working with him in terms of coaching. And the timing was just right, and he felt like I was a good fit, and he offered me sponsorship. You know, so I feel really lucky to have the two sponsors I have. At the same time, I'm not going to sell myself short. I feel like I bring a little bit something different to the table. Like I said, I have my YouTube site, so that's always been my biggest selling point is I have you guys as followers, and you guys view the products I use, and you listen to my reviews. The other thing I have going for me, on top of being a bikini athlete, I'm not pro, but I'm also a registered dietitian. So I feel like that takes a lot of, you know, a lot of people hold those credentials very high, and I feel they should be, obviously, because of my years of schooling. But as a dietitian to represent people's products, it takes a different meaning than just a regular Joe Schmo who competes. You know what I mean? I went to school. I have my master's degree in which I studied nutrition science. I can speak to how products work, how things work. I can speak to different dietary issues. So I feel like as a package, I offer something different. So for those of you out there who are wanting to become sponsored, it's not just about winning a competition or even going pro. Because if you look at a lot of the pros out there, there's some people that turn pro and they don't have any sponsors. And there's a lot of people that don't turn pro or maybe don't even compete anymore and they are sponsored. Social media is huge. You have to be on social media. You have to put yourself out there. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, it is the way of the world right now, social media, and that's how, you know, word spreads on products. The exchange of information nowadays is so quick. So you have to first start by developing yourself on social media. That's number one. But I will say, everyone's on social media right now, so how are you different? So you need to get a good following, and you need to have something that differentiates yourself from other people. And really kind of focus on that and who you are and what you could do different for that company. What else do I want to say? So like I said, I think that's the biggest thing you guys can do right now if you're looking for sponsorship, is to start, number one, what companies do you want to represent? You know, I spent a lot of time looking at companies, and I reached out to some people, and you know, a good start for a lot of people, and a lot of companies will do this, is have you not necessarily call yourselves a sponsored athlete where they send you like the amount of crap that Mark sends me, which is ridiculous, the amount of free stuff I get. But a lot of companies will have you promote them first and foremost, you know, especially the smaller companies who maybe aren't really there with calling someone a sponsored athlete yet. There was a period of time I promoted About Time. I like their products and I wanted to promote them. I believed in their ingredients. And so that was one of the things we worked out. They sent me some stuff and I promoted them. They gave me a discount code. I wasn't necessarily a sponsored athlete, but you know, it's a little give and take there. And I've noticed a lot more companies now do that. About Time, I think Cellucor does. There's a bunch of other companies that maybe they're not going to call you a sponsored athlete, but you can work something out where you're at least promoting their products. You know, you get a little bit in return and they get a little bit in return with word of mouth and things of that nature. I think it's helpful if you go through, figure out who are you looking to promote, what companies do you like, do you want to represent, start reaching out to people, and don't just say, hi, my name's Kara, I'm a bikini competitor, can I be a sponsored athlete? You know, I would contact companies, I would send them some of my YouTube videos with higher views. I would, you know, try to, you know, tell company I'm a registered dietitian, this is what I do. I would love to collaborate with you and how can we work together? You know, it's not, you have to think about what you can do for the company. So start by reaching out to people, get your name out there. It may not happen right away. I mean, I started this YouTube in 2011 and that's when I started competing as well. So it took me a couple years and, you know, I still feel very lucky that I got these sponsorships, but I think that's the best advice that I could give to you guys. Don't get frustrated by it. This is a big, big community in the fitness industry. Like I said, sometimes it's just about who you know. Sometimes it's about your location. I'm in Syracuse, New York. Who the fuck cares about Syracuse, New York and what you're doing in that area? Probably not a lot of people, you know, so if you're in a bigger city, your location, you know, there's so many different factors there. Try not to get discouraged. This is the best advice I can give for you. Try to make yourself stand out, build your name, build your brand, and let companies know what you can do for them. So that's my advice, guys. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know if you have any other questions and keep checking back.